What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. Chance and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin, coming to you guys for the first time post-Christmas 2021. Hopefully everyone had a great Christmas. I know I sure did, and I'm sure, Glenn, for you it was the same.
Well, it was, but you do know the Bengals game.
Oh, yeah.
After Christmas.
But like post-Christmas week, like.
There we go. Okay.
I was outside myself after that Bengals game. I wasn't even thinking. But we have some news here. We're excited to turn the page. We have some news for this week that we want to talk about, and if it's good, bad for the Ravens. But before we do, two quick things. Want to shout out the partner that we have that's making this show possible, LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs, LinkedInjobs.com is an awesome place if you're looking for jobs, or if you are a recruiter, business owner, hiring manager, whatever the case may be. Go on there, place your job for free in the most professional and customizable search engine and job posting site in the world. Use the promo code 410 to do it for free. But Glenn, we have news here. So let's get right into it.
All right. So the scheduled game this weekend between the Baltimore Ravens and the LA Rams has been flexed to an earlier time slot. So it was originally slated to kick off at 4:25, and now it's been moved to 1 o'clock. And it's in its place looks like the Saints and the Panthers have been flexed into that 4:25 spot, which is. I would like to start there because typically in these situations where you're flexing a game out of a prime time and a game into it, you do so because there's some intrigue surrounding that game. So, Jimmy, I have to ask you, what intrigue is surrounding the Saints and the Panthers? Because who gives a damn?
Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird to me because you would think that there's some sort of likelihood that Lamar Jackson comes back, and they have the storyline of the Ravens playing for their playoff lives, Lamar Jackson coming back, playing against a high-powered Rams team. There's a lot of intrigue. Like Michael Scott says, there's been a lot of murder and a lot of intrigue, right? Like there's a lot of that going on inside this game, the Ravens and the Rams. But apparently, I guess the draw of a divisional matchup, they think is going to get better ratings. I don't see it.
Let me ask you, what's a bigger market, the LA market or the Carolina market?
Yeah. I mean, look, the Baltimore market is, in my opinion, is bigger than the Carolina market.
Right. And LA dwarfs New Orleans. And let me just remind you what their current records are. The New Orleans Saints are third in their division at 7-8, and the Panthers are behind them, fourth in that same division at 5-10. So
even combined records,
don't as far as I know, the Rams have clinched at least some sort of a playoff berth, and the Ravens are very much alive in the AFC playoff run. So I just don't understand that. So, I mean, I just wanted to start there. I don't get why the flex was necessary. I could see if they were bringing a game up that had some more playoff ramifications, maybe two teams higher in the playoff seeding currently, but I simply don't understand a Saints-Panthers matchup being flexed into that spot.
It's a weird one. It's a really weird one, and I guess the NFL folks that are in the room, the matchmakers, if you will, just don't see a compelling game. Like it's not going to be competitive, right? Maybe they're also thinking, well, at least the Saints and the Panthers will be competitive. I don't know, but I certainly know without a shadow of a doubt that this game is going to be competitive because the Ravens' playoffs lives are on life support at this point. This is the definition.
Like you mentioned, there's a chance they could get Lamar back.
Yeah, so really interesting news here. It was a bit surprising because it's not like this moves away, like you said, from an NBC, like a Sunday night game. This isn't a Monday night. It's a 4:25 game that's been now flexed to a 1 p.m. game. But this is the other question. Who does it favor? Because you have the Rams who are coming from LA. That's a long flight. If you're talking about a direct flight, you're talking about 5 hours. And then you get here and you got a 3-hour time change. So you're talking about 8 hours in time difference, right?
Yeah.
And automatically you're losing 3 hours until you get back on that plane and go home. So so now they're playing at 10 a.m. on top of that. I think my instinct is that this really benefits the Ravens. What is your instinct, Glenn?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they were playing scheduled at 4:25. That's 1:25 their time. Very normal. You know, they typically play a game at 1 o'clock their time, so
Yeah.
that is normal. Now they're playing at 10 a.m. their time, and it's got to play some factor. I mean, how much that plays a factor, I guess we'll never know, but I think it certainly impacts them. I think if you ask any retired player or coach and talk about, that's the single hardest trip to make in football, is a west to east coast trip where you have a 1 o'clock start time. There's no more difficult travel unless you're talking about a Sunday night to Thursday night, which is very unique and relatively new. But in a standard week, the toughest thing is a West Coast team traveling all the way. And you couldn't travel much further from their hometown than here in Baltimore. So I think it definitely helps them. But at the same time, we really only have one game to look at on the Rams schedule this year in which they did a similar trip, played a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast. And that was when they visited the New York Giants, and they beat them 38-11. So at least in that game, this is the Giants we're talking about, who are a dumpster fire, but at least in that game, it certainly didn't seem to affect them.
Yes, yeah. So it's a small sample size in volume, and then a bad, like you're saying, it's just a tough reference to make, right? Because the Ravens, even last week, with the replacements and within our secondary, I think would have still beaten the Giants. So yeah, it's there's really no solid reference here, so it will be interesting. Of course, Sean McVay came out and said that he prefers this and thinks it'll be better for his team. But I think it's a little bit of a coach trying to keep things positive and keep his team in the right mindset. So yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a huge benefit for the Ravens. Mm-hmm. And maybe, just maybe, Glenn, the NFL said, you know what, Baltimore? Maybe we want Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. We want to increase his chances just this much because he's a draw.
Right? He is a draw.
We'll lose out at 425. We'll take a hit on the chin. But then if he gets in the first round of the playoffs, and imagine if we play the Titans, if we get at the 7th seed and they stay at the 2nd seed, if we get the Titans in the first round for the 3rd year in a row,
yeah, that would certainly bring the eyeballs.
Yeah, it could be really interesting. But let us know what your guys' thoughts are on this game. Yeah. Does this benefit the Ravens? Does this benefit the Rams? Does it not make a difference at all? Let us know what your thoughts are. Leave all your comments below, and we'll be sure to talk to you guys.